the rebates. And as a reminder, in February 2022, the CBN officially announced the launching of RT200 FX program in a bid to get $200 billion in FX repatriation over the next 5 years. That's part of the program that was set up, or the vision for the program anyway. The RT200 program was expected to have 5 key anchors: value-adding export facilities, non-oil commodities expansion facility, non-oil FX rebate scheme, dedicated non-oil export terminals, biannual non-oil export summit. RI's business analyst Chika Mbonu joins us now from our Abuja studios to discuss further. Chika, good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us. So, what are your thoughts on the FX repatriation under the RT200?
Good morning, Rotus. Let me take you on a little journey this morning. Dollar, foreign exchange, the life of Nigerians. You go to the suya man and say, Suya, Alaji, this suya was costing 100 naira before. It's now 200. What happened? He said, dollar. Oh. If you go to the market and say, tell the woman selling fabric, Madam, why is this fabric that I bought 200 naira before per yard is now 400? You hear dollar. Oh. So dollar, the price of it, up and down, sort of, submerges with the life of Nigerians. Now, if you, Rotus, when you get married and you have 10 kids and you're traveling and say you give, a small 1 cup of rice for your 10 children for the chef to use in feeding them, that's no way, when you come back, they're not going to complain to you. They're going to tell you, Daddy, the uncle is wicked, and so on and so forth. No matter how many times you change the chef, if you still the 1 cup of rice you're giving to the chef, your children hungry are going to complain. And this analogy, I'm going to bring it to the foreign exchange into the country, in our FX, in a situation in our country. What are the sources of foreign exchange in our country? 1 is oil proceeds. 2 is non-oil exports. 3 is diaspora remittances. And 4 is foreign portfolio investments and foreign direct investments. Oil, as we earn it these days, we're struggling to meet our 1 million barrels a day. And when the proceeds come in, we turn around to use it to import fuel at and sell it at reduced rates, at subsidized rates. Oil used to contribute maybe sometimes $3 billion, to the FX position of our country reserves, but literally almost contributing nothing for some time now. So the issue, therefore, is how do you diversify the source of foreign exchange in our country? The price of any commodity, I keep saying, is determined by the demand and supply. Now, Nigerians are voracious eaters of foreign exchange. In a report compiled from CBN document says, between 2010 and 2020, $40 billion was spent by Nigerians on education and health-related expenditures abroad. About 29 billion was on education, about 11 billion was on health. But these are CBN documents, so you can imagine those who went to the alternative market to get their foreign exchange. The figures can be higher than this. 40 billion in 10 years spent on education. Abroad, because of what? Our education systems are not working. So, ASU is on strike for almost how many years? The health system is not working. If you go there, it's better go with your pastor because most likely things are going to happen to you there. So you find that what do we have? We must expand the source, the supply of foreign exchange. And that is why this non-oil export came in. Oil, we don't have any control over it, but this non-oil export, we have control over it. The RT200, very soon, we'll soon forget the meaning of RT. The rest to $200 billion of export proceeds repatriation within 3 years to 5 years. That was the program between the banks and the central bank and the exporters. And we've been clamoring for this, and CBN listened because of the fact that there were 5 components of this. First one has to do with providing funding, which is a major limiting factor for a lot of exporters, for them to do their day-to-day work, buying raw materials they're going to use. Second one also has to do with providing funding for the bank, for the exporters who want to expand, buy equipment and machines to expand their processing. Third one, and most very importantly, is the rebate scheme. The rebate scheme, because when people bring in their export proceeds, they are tempted to go to the alternative market where the price is for the dollar is about 700, whereas in the CBN rate is about 400. So CBN tried to encourage them to sell to the I&E window, investors and the exporters window, and get a rebate of 565 naira. And then, of course, the other one is this town hall meeting, which they held biannual. And another one is the dedicated terminal, because exporters have complained that it takes them time. They go through, torture to be able to export their products from the Nigerian ports. And that's why that is there. So, when you focus on things, they work. I'm not surprised that CBN, therefore, has said that between 2021 and 2022, the export proceeds repatriation increased by 40%. It should be more than that, simple things. The exporters are still complaining about the ports in Nigeria. I don't think the issue of the dedicated port has been achieved. And there's more to be done to make sure the exporters don't suffer. And so let's do the right things in the country. And foreign exchange will come in. Look at foreign portfolio investors. Most of them have left the country. So we don't have foreign direct investment, almost nil. These things are doable and within the control of the government, especially.
Arise business analyst Chika Mbonu. Chika, I had a follow-up question for you, but we're out of time. Thank you so much for breaking this down for us, and we hope to see more FX repatriation coming into Nigeria's shores. Thank you so much for taking us through that very important discussion there, an update from the CBN.